Hello everyone and welcome. This is Heather here from Mercantile, and thank you so much for joining our special Patreon VIP club. And not only do you get new tutorials every Thursday on YouTube, but you get the additional footage over here. So today we're going to be making felt sushi, and we're going to start with the felt avocado Hosomaki roll. So we start with the small green piece, fold that in half, and then just do a whip stitch along the edge of the whole piece. Then we're going to flip it inside out and attach the small square to the end. Then just finish by sewing off all four corners there with the whip stitch, and then you get something looking like this. So you'll want to go ahead and put some polyfill inside there and then sew closed the square on the other end of the piece. So that's our tiny insert avocado there, and we'll take our pinking shears and cut the white strip to get that zigzag pattern on the outside. Then you'll just wrap the white piece around the green and go around, sew some reinforcing stitches on the inside, and then sew the outside just to give it a little bit of extra strength. So now we take the dark green felt and go around the outside for our seaweed. You just hide your stitch on the inside and do a whip stitch along the edge here. What you can also do as well is just sew it up before you put it on, and that way you can turn it inside out and it'll give you a cleaner look. So this here is the tutorial for the wasabi and the ginger. For this is the same pattern as a whipped cream, it's just the green felt that I used. And for the ginger, it's just two peach colored strips, and you can just kind of mush it up and give it a couple reinforcing stitches just so it stays together in the shape that you want. And there are those two little guys right there. So next we're going to make a little soy sauce bowl. So you'll need the white felt, a dark brown felt, a dark brown or black, and a white thread. So you're going to want to take the white rainbow shaped piece and just do a whip stitch along the edge of it after you've folded it in half. Then once you get to the end, you will flip it inside out and then put your small circle on the bottom, just whip stitch around the whole edge there to finish off the little sauce cup. And with our little cup all done, we can start working on the soy sauce. So same deal, just fold it in half, whip stitch along the edge, and once you're done that, you will be flipping it inside out again. Then we'll start with the large brown circle and just go ahead and whip stitch around the whole edge there. When we're done, it is time for stuffing. So put a bit of polyfill on the inside of the piece, and then we'll put our small brown circle on the outside, just whip stitch along the whole edge to finish that off. So this is the soy sauce and bowl, the ginger, the wasabi, and the avocado hosomaki. So that was the YouTube video, and then you guys get the special bonus projects as part of the Patreon. And because you are VIP, you get the director's cut of this video where I explain a little more. So next we're going to be making a Tomago sushi. So we're going to take the 5 white pieces of felt and just cut all the edges off of them to make our little rice block. So all the same size. Just take all 5 pieces, stack them up evenly, and just do some reinforcing stitches around the edge of the rice. So there we have our finished little rice block. It's the same for the next tutorial as well. Then we'll start on our egg. Just gonna hide your stitch on the inside, fold the corners over, do a whip stitch down along the edge to the bottom corner. And then we'll take our rectangle that's our base and we'll sew all along the side edge, just a whip stitch along. Again, do a little corner, whip stitch the edge, another corner, whip stitch that long edge, and then the last corner, and then we're going to leave the end open for stuffing. So now that you have that end left open, just put your polyfill inside. You can smooth it out on the table to keep it flat. I like mine to stay flat on the bottom, and then just whip stitch the end of that closed. So now our egg is done. We can use some reinforcing stitches to sew it onto the base of our rice block. And what I actually did that's not on video, I just went and did a couple whip stitches around the edge, the yellow to the white, around the whole edge. That just made it a little more reinforced. Next we'll take our dark green strip. You're going to sew the inside, and then we're going to flip it to hide our stitches on the inside. And cut off your excess thread. And you're all done the little Tomago sushi. So the next project, we're gonna make Ebi sushi. So we're gonna make a cute little shrimp on top of our rice block. And you'll be using orange, peach, white, felt, and orange, white, and a pink or peach thread. So our rice block we learned how to do in the last video tutorial. So we're just going to take the 2 peach colored pieces to start on the body of our shrimp. So you're going to want to whip stitch down till the end of those, flip it inside out, and then we're going to be sewing the top bit that we made onto the bottom oval. And since it is a larger piece, you're just going to kind of want to bunch as you sew. It gives it a cool effect in the end anyways, but just try and keep that bunching even all the way around to give you a nice finished shape, and leave the end open for stuffing. So now we've put a bit of polyfill inside. I like to use a chopstick to help me. I call it my pokey stick, just to help me get in those small pieces. Then you're going to whip stitch the very end closed. So once we've done that, we go and work on the tail. Take 2 orange pieces, cut in a little shrimp tail piece, and just whip stitch along the whole edge of that. You can leave the end open or close it. Personal preference. So I actually I had planned to sew this tail into the inside bottom, but I accidentally closed it up, so this works just as well because you don't see the bottom in this piece. I'm just going to do tiny little stitches all the way around the edge of all those 3 little V-shaped pieces, and I just snipped off the excess so that it stopped at the side. Then we'll take our shrimp and put it on the rice block. Just do some reinforcing stitches to attach that on. And again, I did go around and do some little whip stitches just to stick it on even more. So last but absolutely not least is the Ebi Fry. I don't know why I do that. Anyways, we'll be using the heathered brown pieces and also orange for the tail. Then you're going to want to whip stitch from the very top of the rounded bit to the very bottom, 2 pieces together. Then place another piece on the inside, whip stitch from the very bottom until the very top corner. I guess it's not a corner, the top of the little oval end. Then do a couple reinforcing stitches with your next piece just to get that top nice and closed. Whip stitch down to the bottom. Your last piece, whip stitch from the bottom to the top, and then you're going to want to whip stitch the final 2 pieces sandwiched together to create your finished tube. Then you'll flip it inside out. The stick's really helpful for that. And stuff it with some polyfill. Then we take our 2 little orange tail pieces again, whip stitch around the edge. And we're going to put that little tail piece inside the end of our shrimp piece, but first we're going to go around and stitch this so we can cinch it closed. Just a very loose long running stitch. Then a couple of reinforcing stitches just to get that in there nice and solid. And that's it. That's our Ebi Fry. You can also take tiny little pieces of felt and stitch them on the outside so it looks more, I guess, tempura-y. But that was it. That was this fun little project. I had a lot of fun doing this one. And thank you so much for your support, guys. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram.